Super Mario 3D World has a Mario that looks and controls perfectly. He's basically an upscaled version of the Mario featured in 3D Land, but in here he looks incredibly polished and smooth, almost to the point where he looks like a waxed model or a plastic toy. His animations in-game are nothing elaborate, but they're readable enough for anyone playing as him to identify all of his moves and what he's doing. Jump arcs and speeds are always guaranteed to be as high, or as short, or as fast as they come. Nothing variable, just what you need to get through. You can tell when he does a short hop, when he does a higher jump. The game even has a button to dictate when he walks and when he jogs, and a little indication to show you when he's in absolute full sprint. And the player, even when viewing him in a 3D environment, is always going to see him move in 8 directions, so you'll always know where you're going to position him spatially. What accommodates this perfect movement of Mario is the levels that he is in, which are all carefully designed with his basic and limited moveset in mind. They're essentially building blocks or chunks of a 3D platforming jungle gym, not a sprawling world or environment to get lost in, but simply a diorama of a video game level with preset obstacles for you to conquer. In most cases, you can even view the level in preset angles, so the camera will never be obtrusive to how you're playing. You'll always know how you'll want to play or see the game. Ultimately, Super Mario 3D World was made with the player having a comfortable experience from beginning to end in mind. Nothing from a technical standpoint can really go wrong. The levels are precisely built like they're made just for Mario, and even when other playable characters come into the mix, their abilities and different speeds and movement make them different enough but just as familiar and accessible as Mario. Bottom line, Nintendo successfully made a toy with playsets where you can play around with the toy figures and let them go about the playset in very preset methods and adventures, so you can just have fun with it. But here's the thing about having a playset. It advertises very obvious ways for you to have fun with it. Put the figurines over this backdrop, let them ride around this vehicle thing, put them through this slide hole thing. These are all ways that you're expected to have fun. And it's perfect, you know, there's nothing wrong with making something that's wholesome, that just asks of you to jump into the fun parts so you're guaranteed to have a good time. Mario 3D World is perfect, safe, fun. Now, Mario Odyssey features a Mario who makes silly faces, has a nose that jiggles, and has an embarrassing amount of detail to the fabric of his clothing and hair. Whenever he moves, it's almost like controlling someone who's full of beans and life to him. He has a multitude of jumps to play around with, normal short hops and high jumps to triple jumps, hat jumps, backflips, air dives, that one move that everyone really likes to do. There's so much variety to how he can move, and that's not even going into the enemies that he can possess to further enhance his abilities. While they're mainly used to get very obvious collectibles that the normal Mario can't get, their movement options make it so that realistically, you can go through the whole world and play around with their abilities anywhere, which would make you think that you can always get to wherever you need to get to no problem. The thing is, getting to shortcuts is sometimes very tricky, and usually your first time trying to get off the beaten path, you'll likely fail at it until you come back and try a different tactic and you're in shock because you somehow actually made it there. You did it, because the fact is you tried to get there. You may have failed a couple of times, but you were given the space and the time to at least try. And for the first time in a while for a 3D platformer, maybe not since the original Sonic Adventure, this was a Mario that reacted to his environments, that accelerates as he goes down inclines and slopes. Levels may appear to be playsets, but now they're bigger playsets with more terraforms and slopes and inclines. See, Mario is a very reactive character to all this, because the worlds or situations he's placed in feel very organic and unmistaken for the classic plastic world that he's usually in. He's someone that you play as in Odyssey that doesn't always have the levels made for him, but it's a world that he manages to conquer by the potential of his skill and his creativity. It's because the game allows you to screw up. It's because there's that room for error, for exploration, for improvement, that the fun in Mario Odyssey is expected of you, but at the same time, it expects so much more. This time around, Nintendo gave you a toy, but even with the ways it advertises how you could have fun with it, as a kid, you can think of a million other ways to play with it and make your own ways of having fun. You can pretend this toy is in a world where he doesn't belong in. You can pretend he's having an adventure in your kitchen or your backyard. It's fun not because it's just a toy, and a toy is inherently fun on its own, but because it unlocks lots more possibilities with what you already have for what you can do with it. It's because of this change in attitude to how to make an enjoyable experience with the Mario character that I think Nintendo managed to evolve and also create two different kinds of fun to have with him. The fun where everything is picture perfect, it's exactly how the commercials advertise it as, everything is designed to not temper on your playing experience, and Mario can go through the motions all he wants as long as the levels are inventive enough to work with him. And the other kind of fun where you get to go at your own pace and Mario invents his own ways and methods of going about things while actively making his own challenges in the worlds that he's in. Granted, that does certainly sound like a gigantic step up from having safe fun to having nuanced, varied fun, and believe me, Mario Odyssey definitely feels like a keeper. There's nothing particularly wrong with having that first kind of fun either. I had a comfortable time playing 3D World as a game to just play for completion. I had a wave pool of reactions and realizations of what I could do with my current time playing Mario Odyssey. The thing is, while the press and everyone can revel all we want about how Mario Odyssey finally made Mario different and appealing to the masses, we can't forget that Mario was always made to be appealing to the masses. He was made for fun, just a different kind of fun at the time.
The game is fun. The game is a battle. If it's not fun, why bother? If it's not a battle, where's the fun?